Hey everybody, this is NQ Productions here and welcome to a brand new video. Now you guys may have noticed from the title, but I changed the name of this series from NQ Recap to NQ Archives. I thought NQ Archives sounded like a better name for the series, and I thought it was more appropriate to the series due to the fact that an archive is basically an old history document. And I kinda do that in this series. I look back at my old history on my channel by watching my old videos and criticizing them. In today's episode of NQ Archives, today we're looking at my most popular video of all time. A video that has garnered 2.3 million views on my channel. And that's not even counting the other videos that are related to that original video. Of course, we are talking about my Cars 3 Crash Remake animation. So as the title implies, this video is a recreation of Lightning McQueen's crash from Cars 3 at the Los Angeles 500. This animation is actually the third biggest animation I have ever created in terms of how many frames there are in the video. This animation has a total of 927 frames, which, like I said earlier, makes it the third biggest animation I've ever created in terms of how many frames there are in the video. And if you guys are curious, the second biggest animation I've ever created is my Death of Purple Guy animation remastered, which has a frame total of 1,973 frames. And the biggest animation I've ever created is Stick Figure Fighting Tournament 3, with a humongous frame count of 5,338 frames. Holy shit. Alright, so now that we've done a little bit of a history lesson with my Cars 3 Crash animation, let's start nitpicking it. So the first thing I want to talk about my Cars 3 animation is how faithful it is to the original source material. And in terms of how faithful it is actually very faithful to the original source material. There's no scenes that are changed from the original movie, and everything looks very accurate to the original scene. So in terms of accuracy, I would give it a 10 out of 10. This scene is very accurate to the original movie. But because I don't have the budget of a high animation studio, I probably wouldn't be able to animate as good as Pixar, because this animation definitely is not as good as Pixar's. Although the animation is much better than Stick Figure Fighting Tournament 1, but the animation is still kind of a mess, because literally the cars are just nothing but a bunch of cubes. All I did to create the cars for this animation was that I used a bunch of basic shapes that PowerPoint automatically gives you, and then it just used those and magically made cars, which doesn't look all that great, but it doesn't look terrible. And everything else about the animation is pretty good. The backgrounds are decent, the lip syncing is actually pretty good, and the movements are actually smooth compared to Stick Figure Fighting Tournament 1, where the movements were very choppy and unrealistic. But I tried to aim for realism because that's what Pixar does. They aim for realism while also having a nice cartoony look. And I also made sure to put every single little detail into the animation, which was a nice touch because it shows that I put a lot of effort into the animation. And that's honestly all I've got to say for my Cars 3 Crash recreation. It's a shame that there's not much to talk about when you're talking about scene recreations, because the only thing you have to criticize is how faithful it is to the original source, as well as the quality of the animation. And I already covered all that stuff, so I'm basically done talking about my Cars 3 Crash remake. So overall, it's a pretty good video. It's very faithful to the original source material, and the animation is pretty decent. So for my final score, I'm going to give my Cars 3 Crash remake a 7 out of 10. It's very faithful to the original source material, and the animation, while not fantastic, is still pretty good. This isn't a video that you have to watch immediately after you're done this video, but if you ever see it in your suggested videos, then just watch it for fun. You'll have a good time. So those are my thoughts on the Cars 3 Crash Remake, the most popular video I have ever created. For the next episode of NQ Archives, I actually already know what I'm going to be talking about. For episode 3 of NQ Archives, I'm going to be talking about my 2017 Death of Purple Guy animation. That's right, I'm going to be taking a look at the animation that I created 3 years ago that has no sound that I just recently remastered. It's going to be one hell of a fun video to make, so stay tuned for when that video comes out. The video will probably come out after I finish up Stick Figure Fighting Tournament 4, which is very close to completion. So there's a lot of things to be excited about, guys. With that said, guys, that's all I've got for today's video. You know the drill. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos just like this, and I will see you all in the next video. Until next time, guys.